If it's Friday night, say yeah. For it's another edition of Strictly Sports NFL Friday. Hello, friends. Anthony Floyer here with you for another edition of Strictly Sports NFL Friday. Glad to have you with us. I'm joined at the moment by Michael Bullock. Good old MF Michael Fletcher is running late. Texted me a little while ago. He said to start without him, and that's obviously what we're going to do here. So at some point within the next few minutes, MF will be here, and then when MF comes in, we'll just like with Bullock, we'll catch him up on what he missed when he comes in. So simple as that. So week 2 of the NFL season getting underway last night on Thursday Night Football, a matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. And the Cincinnati Bengals came away with the win. They got the win by a final score of 34-23. Sound familiar? Well, if you go back to week 1, last week, when they went up against the Indianapolis Colts up in Indianapolis, they beat the Indianapolis Colts by that same exact score. What are the odds? The first 2 games out, they not only win them both, but they also win them both by the same exact score. That's unbelievable. So anything can happen, folks. So they're 2-0 now, and Cincy, they keep on rolling. So and maybe we'll have them in our rankings tonight. You never know. So with all that being said, let's dive on into week 2 action here. We're going to kick it off with an NFC South divisional matchup and a great one here. The Carolina Panthers squaring off against the Atlanta Falcons. That emanating from the beautiful new Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. This game will be on Fox, and on the call for this game for Fox, it will be Dan Hellie. Dan Hellie from the NFL Network. He's going to be working the game with Greg Jennings and Karen Bryant on the sidelines. So that's an interesting crew. I would have thought one of their higher tier crews would have been doing this game, but okay. Just give me a moment here while my notes load here. All right. The Atlanta Falcons opening up as 6 to 7 point favorites. And as far as the series history is concerned, let me pull that up real quick. It is in favor of Atlanta. Atlanta leads the all-time series 28-18. Both teams split last year. Both teams winning at home. So there's that interesting little nugget there. Falcons winning at home last year 22-10. They've won the last 3 meetings in Atlanta. The Panthers have not won in Atlanta since 2014 in the old Georgia Dome. Week 17, I remember this very vividly. They were playing for the NFC South Division title, and the Panthers just absolutely destroyed the Falcons 34-3. That's the last time they won in Atlanta. But since then, it's been all Atlanta. They've won the last 3 meetings there. 2 in the Georgia Dome, and then last year at Mercedes-Benz. So, all right, now that we have all the schematics out of the way, let's dive on in. And, okay, let me see here. Carolina, Atlanta. Okay. Cam Newton might think he's Superman, but playing without Greg Olsen and a new right side of the offensive line with Trey Turner, concussion, likely out, and Darrell Williams with a knee, definitely might be too much even for him to overcome. The defense will keep this one close, and cornerback James Bradbury will contain Julio Jones. Although the Falcons are without Deion Jones, foot surgery, and Keanu Neal, ACL, and could be without Devontae Freeman with a knee, they have enough to compensate, particularly on offense. Jones had a career-best 300-yard game versus the Panthers in 2016, and Matt Ryan is destined to rebound at home after a shaky opener in Philadelphia. So I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons to win this game. My final score, I'll go 24-20. I'll go 24-20, the Atlanta Falcons over the Carolina Panthers in what should be a very good game. One I wish we were getting here, but we're not. So that's all I can say. So nothing more to say here. Michael Bullock, come on in. Let's get your thoughts. The Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons kicking off the Sunday slate of week 2.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, Florio, I mean, injuries are not just piling up for the Carolina Panthers, but for the Atlanta Falcons as well. I mean, yeah, you talk about Greg Olsen. I mean, the Carolina Panthers are going to be without him for a while. I mean, that's just a tough loss for them. I mean, without one of your best receivers on the team, and also not even having your best left tackle Matt Khalil and right tackle Daryl Williams. And meanwhile, of course, Atlanta. Of course, we already knew that we already know. Of course, Keanu Neal, who was the strong safety for Atlanta, was lost for the season with a torn ACL. And also, they lost Deion Jones, who to a foot injury. So, two critical parts of their young defense is out. And Devontae Freeman, I mean, he hurt his knee last week, and basically, who knows if he's going to be able to go? And if that's not the case, Tevin Coleman would get the start. So, but because I think Atlanta has some more weapons, I have to go with the Atlanta Falcons as well. I'm going to say 28-21 is going to be my final score. So, yeah, there's really nothing more that needs to be said. So, let's just move on to the next game, Florio, which I will get into.
Yes, you will. And another interesting matchup here. I mean, we got a great slate of action here in week 2, and this one should be another interesting one as well. Over on the AFC side, we're going to go to CBS now. We got the Los Angeles Chargers squaring off against the Buffalo Bills at New Era Field in Buffalo, Rich Stadium, Ralph Wilson Stadium, whatever you want to call it. We got Tom McCarthy and Steve Burline on the call. And the Chargers are opening up as 7 to 8.5 point favorites. The Chargers lead the all-time series 23-10 with 2 ties. And the Chargers have won the last 3 meetings, including last year at a StubHub Center. Chargers pounded Buffalo 54-24, the infamous 5 interception in the first half for Nathan Peterman game. We all don't want to remember that, Bills fans, I know. And last meeting in Buffalo was 2014. Chargers won that one 22-10. Bills last beat the Chargers in 2008. That was also in Buffalo, 23-14. So see what happens here. So we have all the schematics out of the way. So Michael Bullock, both teams 0-1. Buffalo got absolutely manhandled by the Baltimore Ravens as expected. But the Chargers, what happened to them? They lost at home to Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes? What?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that shocked everybody with the Chargers losing, but of course it's only one game, so I'm pretty sure those in LA are not panicking. But yeah, I mean, the Bills. I mean, what happened with them? I mean, Nathan Peterman had a garbage game. I mean, 5 of 18 for 24 yards and 2 picks, and only produced 1 first down in 2 quarters. And basically, it was enough for Bills coach Sean McDermott to basically pull the plug on him and bring in Josh Allen. And then, of course, Josh Allen finished 6 of 15 for 74 yards and was sacked 3 times. So, and now he's going to get his first ever start. Of course, he was the 7th overall pick in the draft. So, yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how they do. And the Chargers, I mean, they've always had a history of slow starts. Of course, last year they opened up 0-4 before winning 9 of their final 12 games. And of course, yeah, I mean, like you said, Phillip Rivers, I mean, he had a good game against the Chiefs, throwing for over against the Kansas City Chiefs when he threw for 424 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, but let's not forget one thing, of course, Joey Bosa, he's still going to be out with a foot injury, and yeah, so I basically think the LA Chargers are going to bounce back and win this one. My final score, I'm going to say 31 to 13 is going to be my final score. I just think Josh Allen's First ever pro start's going to be a rough one against the LA Chargers. So sorry, Florio, but your Bills are going to go 0-2, and what I think is going to be another hard times year. So hopefully you enjoyed last season, because I think the fun's over. Wouldn't you agree?
Back to reality, Bullock. That's what it is.
It's back to reality.
Yeah, I hate reality. That's all there is to say about it. I really hate it. You know, I loathe and detest reality, honestly. I forgot to mention the Falcons are the FPI win projection for Atlanta. They have Atlanta 65%. It might be early, but no game has a higher potential playoff impact than that one does. Carolina would jump to 57% with a win and drop to 33% with a loss. And the Falcons would climb to 50% with a win and drop to 25% with a loss. The combined leverage for that bout is 48%. So keep that in mind for that Carolina-Atlanta game. As far as LA and Buffalo goes, the Chargers face the Bills for the second consecutive year, with Buffalo's quarterback, rookie first-round pick Josh Allen making his first NFL start. The Bills hope Allen's debut does not go as badly as last season, when Nathan Peterman threw 5 interceptions in the first half of his debut. The Chargers are the better team and hungry for their first win after a humbling defeat to the Chiefs at home in their season opener last week. The Chargers have defeated the Bills in their past 3 meetings. Joey Bosa, who pressured or hit Peterman on all 5 of his interceptions last season, will not play on Sunday. Neither will Eric Wood and Richie Incognito, the Bills' 2 best offensive linemen from last season's game, who both retired. With Allen making his first career start, the Chargers still have the advantage. I'm going with the Chargers to win this one as well. My final score, 27-17. Chargers over Buffalo, and the Chargers are 70% favorites, by the way. It didn't take long for the Bills to hand the reins to Allen. FPI sees Josh Allen as a substantial improvement over Nathan Peterman. Had Buffalo stuck with Peterman, FPI would have given the Bills a less than 20% chance to win. So that's all there is to say on that. So let's just move on here to our next matchup. And one of the big ones of the week. Like I said, we're loaded this week, let me tell you. And we got a good one here. A great divisional matchup. We got the Minnesota Vikings squaring off against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. This will be on Fox. The B team will be working this one. Kevin Burkhardt, Charles Davis, Pam Oliver. I believe we're going to be getting this game on our local affiliate, Fox Providence. And one spread, believe it or not, has this as an NA, if you can believe it. Another spread has Minnesota by 1, and another spread has this as a pick'em game. Yeah, that's how close it is. And Green Bay leads the all-time series 59-52 with 2 ties. However, Minnesota swept both meetings last year, including at Lambeau, 16-0. I believe it was in week 16, right around Christmas time on a Saturday night. The Packers had decided to shut Aaron Rodgers down for the rest of the season after they had lost to Carolina. And then Minnesota just basically manhandled them. Green Bay last beat Minnesota at home the year before, 2016, I think right around the same time, around Christmas time. That was a 38-25 win on a Saturday afternoon on Christmas Eve. So there's all the schematics there. So let's get into this one. Let me see. What do I have for this? Okay. Minnesota notched 26 quarterback pressures against the 49ers, while its defensive line pushed the pocket to make Jimmy Garoppolo uncomfortable. Even if the Vikings face a less mobile version of Aaron Rodgers, they know that the QB is not going to be a statue in the pocket. Lost in the will he or won't he play narrative is how underwhelming the Packers were elsewhere on offense against the Bears, receiving few contributions from their running backs and tight ends. The Packers are 95-48 when Aaron Rodgers starts, and 6-11-1 when he doesn't, but he has never started a game with a sprained left knee. So if he plays Sunday against the Vikings, who knows how much he'll be able to do. It could be close if he plays, or a blowout if he doesn't, given backup DeShone Kizer's propensity for turnovers. But Rodgers or not, I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings to win this game. My final score, I'm going to go 24-20. Minnesota over Green Bay, even though Green Bay is a 60% favorite. This prediction assumes Aaron Rodgers, the hero, and I do mean American hero of week 1 against Chicago, is healthy. should DeShone Kizer be forced to start, FPI would give the Packers just a 43% chance to win. So that's why I'm going to go with Minnesota to win 24-20. So nothing more to say. Bullock, I mean, Minnesota, as expected, looked great against San Francisco. Green Bay, they thought they lost their franchise quarterback again after he got hurt. But then he came out of nowhere, basically pulled a Willis Reed, if you will, from Game 7 of the 1970 NBA Finals. He went out there, played on a bum knee, and he didn't do much. All he did was just lead his team back to win. So what's the story? What's he going to do? Is he going to play or not?
Well, earlier today, I did hear he is listed as questionable. So as of right now, we do not know for sure if he's going to play or not. We probably won't know until game time. So yeah, I mean, it was just unreal. I mean, when I watched that Sunday night game, I mean, when Aaron Rodgers went down, I'm basically like, oh no, not again. I mean, and then all of a sudden he comes out. I'm like, don't tell me he's going to play in this one. He's going to play the second half, but he did, and as soon as he got that winning touchdown, I'm like, this guy did it again. I mean, this is why he's the American hero. I mean, but the thing is, I mean, like I said, we're gonna have to wait and see how. If he will be able to go. But yeah, when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings, I mean, the defense looked really good. I mean, they definitely rattled Jimmy G around, and yeah, and made it look easy. So, this is a tough one here. I mean, here's the thing: if Aaron Rodgers does play, I'm gonna say Green Bay wins. But if he doesn't, I have to go with Minnesota. So this is tough. So I mean, in the end, I have to go with the Minnesota Vikings. I think it's going to be a close one. I'm going to say 27-24. Minnesota wins. And to me, I think he will play. But the thing is, he's not going to be 100%. And you know that defense is definitely going to test him out. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So, Florio, let's just get on to the next game, which I'll lead off on.
And before we do that, let's make a note. Let's not forget, last year, who knocked Aaron Rodgers out for the season with the collarbone? The Minnesota Vikings. Let's not forget that. So, but that was in Minnesota. That was not in Green Bay. So let's keep that in mind going into that one. All right, let's move on to our next matchup. This is a game that usually would be on CBS, but Fox actually has it. It's going to be the Cleveland Browns squaring off against the New Orleans Saints at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. This one will be on Fox, like I said. We got Chris Myers with Daryl Moose Johnston and Laura Oakman on the call. New Orleans opening up as a 9.5 to 10.5 point favorite. Gee, does that sound familiar? Well, remember last week, they were favored. That was the same spread. They were 9.5 to 10.5 point favorites against Tampa Bay, and look what happened. They lost. They lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 48-40, in a 5-star shootout. Anyways, Cleveland leads the all-time series 13-4. And their last meeting was in 2014 in Cleveland, and the Browns won 26-24. Last meeting in New Orleans was in 2010. Cleveland Browns also won that 30-17. This might be hard to believe, but the Cleveland Browns have won the last 3 meetings in the Superdome. Go figure that. The New Orleans Saints last beat the Browns in the Superdome. You got to go all the way back to 1990. 1990, a 25-20 win. So, all right, Bullock. These were 2 of the surprising stories from last week. You know, the Saints, heavy favorites against an undermanned Tampa Bay team without Jameis Winston. And then Ryan Fitzpatrick just torched them. Wow, 48-40 was the final there. And how about the Cleveland Browns coming back from 21-7 down against Pittsburgh. They didn't win, but they forced a tie. Could this be a sign of things to come for Cleveland? Could there be hope in Cleveland for once?
Well, you never know. I mean, but the thing is for Cleveland, your former boy Tyrod Taylor's got to play a lot better if he wants to lead this team to an upset over New Orleans, because he was only 15 of 40 for 197 yards in the opener. But the thing is, the weather was terrible. But the thing is, Tyrod Taylor did not use the weather as an excuse. But the thing is, he's got a dome, so who knows? Maybe this could be the time he could have a good game. But I think the heat is on. And if he has another outing like that, I think the Cleveland Browns may want to consider turning it to Baker Mayfield. But to me, I mean, I think the Saints will have a bounce back game here. I expect the defense to definitely play a lot better than he did, because they did not expect Ryan Fitzpatrick to have the game that he had. So I think the defense will definitely play better. I think the offense will definitely be just fine. So I got the Saints winning this one. My final 38-17. So nothing more to say. Florio, I give it to you.
The Browns defense gave up touchdown drives of 88, 74, and 39 yards to Pittsburgh, and now on the road has to face a Saints team angered by an embarrassing home loss in its opener. That's not a good formula for a team whose quarterback went 15 of 40 passing in the opener. I'm surprised the Saints are nearly double-digit favorites for the second straight week. Their defense had trouble containing Ryan Fitzpatrick in the pocket in week 1, and now it has to deal with Tyrod Taylor, not to mention dangerous receiving threats such as Jarvis Landry, Josh Gordon, and Duke Johnson Jr. Fortunately, the Saints can trump that with Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, and Michael Thomas, who just set a franchise record with 16 catches in week 1. So I definitely have the Saints winning. I just don't know if I should consider this a close affair or if it should be a rout. But you know what? No, I'm going to go with the close route. I'm going to go 30-25. New Orleans, and besides, New Orleans is a 74% favorite anyway. Though the Saints lost in week 1, the Brees-Thomas connection was nearly perfect. The duo completed 16 passes on 17 attempts, and Brees' raw QBR when targeting Thomas was 99.4. Let's think about that. So I'm going to go 30-25. New Orleans over Cleveland. Would not be surprised if Cleveland steals one here. I wouldn't. So nothing more to say here. Let's move on to our next matchup. And it's an old school AFC East divisional rivalry. Wouldn't have it any other way. It's going to be a great one here. It's always fun when these two get together. The Miami Dolphins squaring off against the New York Jets. MetLife Stadium in the Meadowlands on CBS. Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon, Steve Tasker. They will have the call. And the Jets are opening up as 2.5 to 3-point favorites. The Jets also lead the all-time series 54-49 with a tie. They split last year. Both teams won at home. So the Jets won in the Meadowlands 20-6. The Dolphins have not beaten the Jets in the Meadowlands since 2014. That was a 16-13 win. So I believe I have all the schematics out of the way. So let's talk about this. The Jets are riding the high of a primetime blowout road win over Detroit. But this is still the same team we had a lot of question marks about to start the season. Miami's pass rush duo of Cameron Wake and Robert Quinn should have more success against the Jets' offensive line. The Dolphins' secondary might be able to fool Sam Darnold into a few turnovers on Sunday. Kenyon Drake and Frank Gore could lead the Dolphins to a road win here. Let's think about that. Sam Darnold blitzed only 4 times and contacted just twice by the Lions in the opener. We'll have a tougher time against the Miami defense that will take some chances. Wake is an absolute Jets killer, 10.5 career sacks and 4 forced fumbles. The Jets have lost 7 of their past 10 at home to Miami. The Jets are on a short week and have improved they can handle prosperity. Even though the Jets are 62% favorites, no team received a stronger FPI rating upgrade after week 1 than the Jets, who blew out the Lions. Darnold posted a total QBR of 84.2 in his debut, which ranked 3rd among all quarterbacks. So I'm going to take a chance here, and I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins to win this one. After all, they endured a 7-hour game with Tennessee because of all those lightning delays and whatnot. So, and I think Cameron Wake will be the difference in this one. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins to win. My final score, 23-20. Miami wins over the Jets. Nothing more to say here. So, Bullock, I mean, the Dolphins, man, them in Tennessee, I mean, they nearly played all night last week because of all those lightning delays, but they finally got it in. Dolphins won, much to the delight of MF and Eric Carrier and their Dolphin family. And the Jets, whoa, where did that come from on Monday night?
I don't think anybody saw that coming with the New York Jets. I mean, the thing is, the first play of the game, well, the first play for Sam Darnold, he threw a pick 6, and I'm like, yep, it's going to be another hard times year. But then the Jets out of nowhere came and put up over 40 points on the Detroit Lions. I mean, I don't think anybody saw that coming. And Sam Darnold, I got to give him credit. He definitely bounced back after that pick and basically had a really good first start in the NFL. And the Dolphins, I mean, they basically almost played a long time because of all those lightning delays against the Tennessee Titans. They basically won that game. The thing is, I don't know if Sam Darnold can have the repeat performance. I mean, I think he could have a solid game, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. But I do agree. I got to go with the Miami Dolphins to win this one. I just think they have the better team and much better defensively. And I'm going to say Miami wins by a final of 20-24 is going to be my final score. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more to say, Florio. So let's just move right along to the next game.
I like this next matchup. This is a great one here. Another one on our side of the ledger. The Kansas City Chiefs squaring off against the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. This game will be on CBS, and I can confirm that we will have this game on our local affiliate, WPRI 12 here in Providence, here in Rhode Island. Iron Eagle, Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn, they'll be there. And Pittsburgh opening up as 4.5 to 5-point favorites. Series history favors the Pittsburgh Steelers by a count of 22-10. They met last year in Kansas City, and the Steelers won that 19-13. The Kansas City Chiefs, in case you're wondering, they have not won in Pittsburgh against the Steelers since all the way back in 1986. 1986 at the old Three Rivers Stadium. Kansas City came out with a win 24-19. But nonetheless, their last meeting in Pittsburgh was 2016, and the Steelers absolutely pounded the Chiefs 43-14. So I believe I have all the schematics out of the way. We have MF, but we'll catch him up in just a little bit. So actually, you know what? Bullock. Why don't you give me your thoughts real quick on Kansas City and Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh. I mean, what happened with them? I mean, they basically. I mean, Pittsburgh had a chance to win that game, and they let the Browns come back and ended up in a tie. And with Kansas City, I mean, I don't think anybody saw that coming with them. I mean, Patrick Mahomes had a stellar four touchdown performance in the win over the Chargers, and Tyreek Hill made some big plays, and and basically so you got to give credit to the Chiefs. I mean, they basically hung in. I mean, and the thing is for Pittsburgh, I mean, obviously the whole Le'Veon Bell situation, which I'm not going to get into, but James Conner had a solid first start at running back, and Ben Roethlisberger, his status is up in the air because he bruised his elbow in the tie with the Cleveland Browns. So it'll be interesting to see if he does play or not. So yeah, so this should be a good one, but man, I'll tell you what, if Ben Roethlisberger plays, I'm going to say Pittsburgh wins, but if he doesn't, then you know what? Either way, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs in this one because, I mean, I just stunned at the performance of Patrick Mahomes and he could have another solid game, and basically with Tyreek Hill with what he can do. So I think it's going to be a close one. I'm going to say 31-28. Kansas City goes in, beats Pittsburgh, and yeah, there's really nothing more that needs to be said. So, Florio, I give it to you.
Yes, indeed. The Chiefs haven't matched up well against the Steelers in recent years. Pittsburgh has dominated up front. The Steelers have 514 rushing yards in the past 3 matchups to 176 for the Chiefs and controlled Kansas City's high-scoring offense. The Chiefs have 43 points in the 3 games. I don't think that changes this season, so I got to disagree with you, Bullock. But before I give you my score, I just want to run down this little nugget here. The Steelers have won 6 of their past 7 against the Chiefs. Tyreek Hill has averaged 4.84 yards a touch in the past 3 matchups with Pittsburgh. Ben Roethlisberger will be eager to find his rhythm at home, and the Chiefs' inexperienced secondary should help. So I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers to win. After all, they are 65% favorites. The Chiefs had the best special teams week of any team last week. Tyreek Hill had a punt return for a touchdown, which is great in the moment, but less predictable than offense or defense. Going forward, FPI still isn't quite sold on KC. I mean, even though they had that great outing against the Chargers. So with all that being said, I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I got them to win this one. I'm going to say 27-23. I got Pittsburgh winning. So, MF, come on in. We got to catch you up on a few games here. You only missed about 6 here, so that's not too bad. Let's get you caught up rapid fire. Carolina Panthers against the Atlanta Falcons.
Falcons.
Okay, enough said. Los Angeles Chargers.
You said rapid fire. I'm going to give you rapid fire.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Los Angeles Chargers against the Buffalo Bills.
Chargers.
Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers.
I'm going to go with the Vikings because I don't believe Aaron Rodgers is going to play.
Okay. Cleveland Browns against the New Orleans Saints.
Saints.
Your Miami Dolphins against the New York Jets.
Close game, Miami.
And the game we just talked about now, the Kansas City Chiefs against the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of our top games of the week on our side of the ledger.
Yeah, it is. It's top game of the week, and I'm gonna go with you guys, and I'm gonna agree, and I'm gonna go with the Pittsburgh Steelers to win.
All right, so MF is now all caught up. So let's move on to our next game. We got the Philadelphia Eagles, the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, squaring off against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. This game will be on Fox, and on the call for Fox is going to be Kenny Albert and the Barber brothers, Rondé and Tiki Barber. That new combination. They'll be working that one. And the Eagles are opening up as 3.5-point favorites. And let me get to the series history really quick. Let me just pull this up here. I believe it's Philly who leads the all-time series. Let me double check. Yes, Philadelphia leads the all-time series 8-6. However, in their last meeting, 2015 in Philadelphia, the Buccaneers absolutely pounded the Eagles 45-17. Last meeting in Tampa was in 2013. Philadelphia won that 31-20. The Bucs' last home win against the Eagles was in 2006. That was a 23-21 win. So I believe I have all the schematics for this one covered. So let me find the Philly and Tampa matchup here and get into the numbers. Okay. Still no Carson Wentz, but the Eagles offense should get going in Tampa. Mike Wallace noted this week that the Bucs play a lot of quarters defense, which he views as the ideal coverage to get deep balls. Nick Foles might air a few out against a banged-up Tampa secondary after playing conservatively week 1. The Eagles' defensive front, meanwhile, will make it tough for Ryan Fitzpatrick to get his quote-unquote magic going. Can the Bucs replicate last week's offensive firepower and Fitzpatrick's Fitzmagic against the Eagles' vaunted defense? More importantly, can the defense that gave up 40 points and struggled against the Saints anticipate Doug Peterson's gadget plays? We'll see. Philly is a 60% favorite. It looks like there is still some magic left in Fitzpatrick's arm as he posted his highest single-game total QBR since 2015. The Eagles' defense will provide a tougher challenge as it has allowed the second lowest total QBR against since the start of last season. So with that being said, I'm going to take a chance here, and I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles to win. My final score is 27-13. Let me rephrase that. 27-13. I want to make sure you all heard me on that. Make sure you heard it clear to the point. So 27-13, Philadelphia wins. But don't be surprised if Tampa Bay ends up pulling another major upset like they did in New Orleans. MF, I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick, as we always say, came out of nowhere. But we also got to get into Philly. I mean, we saw them in the opener last week against Atlanta.
Not impressive, though. Not impressive.
It was a carbon copy of that divisional. It was a carbon copy of that divisional game almost.
Yeah, it was. I'm gonna openly admit it. Nick Foles wasn't that impressive, but he made the clutch plays that he needed to make. The defense made some great plays down the stretch, but with the way that basically Philadelphia was Tampa was flying against New Orleans. I mean, that I don't think none of us saw that coming, and that's why. I'm sorry, Anthony. I disagree with you. With Tampa at home on their first game, going up against the Super Bowl champions, and the way that Philly played, no Alshon Jeffrey, no Darren Sproles. And yeah, the defense might be, and I think the defense is a little suspect. I'm going to go for the upset. I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning this. But it's going to be close. My final score is 28-21. But I think Bucky's going to be firing the cannons at Raymond James Stadium. I'm calling for the upset. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
You know what? I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm actually going to agree with Fletch on this one. I mean, going into that opener, nobody expected Tampa Bay to have the performance offensively that we saw, and the Eagles, they didn't look that impressive. Nick Foles had a shaky start, and the defense didn't look good, and you're also without two of your key guys offensively, so I'm going to agree with him, and I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well. It's going to be a close one. So I'm going to say, I say 27-24 is the correct score. And all I can say is the ship is going to be firing off those cannons inside Raymond James Stadium. So nothing more to say. Florio, I give it to you.
Yes, indeed. That's a running gag between MF and myself over the years. It dates back to a divisional playoff game that Tampa Bay Buccaneers had against the San Francisco 49ers January of 2003. We saw Bucky firing those cannons, and that's what did it for me. MF, you know the story.
Yeah, and then we actually had a bigger gag. I think it was one of the Thursday night games. We actually did one of them, and I think it was a road game. And Anthony alluded to this was the time when I was the lead, and Anthony was the number 2, and he yelled it. I was like, "Oh, I don't think it's gonna happen," and then bang! I'm like, "Ah!" So yeah, so we had some fun with that, and it's a darn shame it's a Fox game and not a CBS game, but it is what it is.
Well, the game that we have, that's all I can say. So the big one we got still to come. So the Tony and Mikey special for this week. And we definitely got to sit down and talk about which crews did what game last week and what's coming up this week. So we got to set our announcer assignments there, MF, when we get a chance. So, all right, let's move on. Move on to our next matchup. We got the Houston Texans against the Tennessee Titans. That's one of those games that we need to definitely figure out who's doing it. Houston Texans, Tennessee Titans, Nissan Stadium in Nashville. This will be on CBS, of course. And working this one will be Andrew Catalan and James Lofton. They will be there. And the Texans open up as 2.5 to 3-point favorites. Series history favors the Tennessee Titans 17-15. They split last year, both teams winning at home. The game in Nashville went to Tennessee 24-13. The Texans have not won in Nashville since 2015. That was a 34-6 beatdown in Nashville. So I believe it's MF who starts this one off. So MF, this is a tough one. I mean, Houston, they took New England to the limit again, but they came up just short. And Tennessee, I mean, oh my goodness, that game against your Dolphins last week. It went all night.
Yeah. 2 delays, 4 hours of sitting on our hands. We finally got the game, and Tennessee lost Delaney Walker for the season with a really one of the most horrific injuries. No, it wasn't Psycho Sid-like, but it was a bad injury. And then Marcus Mariota was out of the game with an injury himself. So, I mean, yeah, this was a tough Sunday for both teams. Both losing identical scores, 27-20. On both sides. So it was a great game. It was a very good battle. This one now, we're going to have to wait and see. DeAndre Hopkins is questionable for the game. Fuller is expected to play. Which is good. And I think this is going to be close and down to the wire. At the end of the day, I gotta go with the Houston Texans because of the fact that offensively, there's too many injuries offensively, and I don't even know if Marcus Mariota is going to play. I mean, he is listed questionable with I think it's an arm and a shoulder injury for that game. So we'll wait and see what happens. At the end of the day, I think Houston's going to win it. They're going to bounce back. Close game, 21-17. Houston beats Tennessee. And Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Houston Texans as well. I mean, I agree with Fletch. I mean, because the thing is, I mean, Tennessee. I mean, you lose one of your best players, Delaney Walker, for the season with that really bad ankle injury, and Marcus Mariota, as you said, is I mean, he's currently listed as questionable. I mean, and I don't know if he's going to be able to go. So, and yeah, I mean, that's the thing here. So, I think it's because of that. I think I got to go with the Houston Texans to win this one. I'm going to say 27-20 is going to be my final score. I think Deshaun Watson will have a better game, and defensively, I think they'll make enough plays. So, Florio, it is yours.
Deshaun Watson lit up the Titans for 5 touchdowns in the last matchup. The secondary will be tested by Watson and DeAndre Hopkins, especially when Watson is able to break the pocket and buy extra time. The pass rush had trouble getting to the quarterback last week, getting only 1 sack in the season opener. They'll need a better effort this week. But the Texans, I think, will end up with a close win. I agree. Their pass rush had a hard time getting to Tom Brady. early in the season opener, but it improved in the second half. The Texans will look more like that team against Marcus Mariota, who could be playing behind an offensive line that is not at full strength. This won't be a blowout like the last time Watson faced the Titans, but I think he will lead the Texans to a victory to avoid starting the season 0-2. So I'm going with Houston to win as well, even though Tennessee is a 57% favorite in the eyes of FPI. But, Deshaun Watson was pressured at a league-high 54% rate in week 1, and a lot of that might have been on him. Watson had the second longest time before a pass, 3.4 seconds among QBs last weekend. So I'm going with Houston. I agree. Final score, I'm going to go 24-17, Houston over Tennessee. And we move on now to, I believe this is our final early game on our docket here before we get to the late ones. The Indianapolis Colts squaring off against the Washington Redskins at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. This game will be on CBS as well. Spiro Dedes and Adam Archuleta on the call. And the Redskins are opening up as 6-point favorites. Series history favors the Indianapolis Colts by a count of 20-10. Last meeting was 2014 in Indianapolis. Colts pounded the Redskins 49-27. Last meeting in Washington was 2010 on a Sunday night. Indianapolis won that 27-24. Redskins have not beaten the Colts at home since 2002. That was a 26-21 win. So I believe we have all the schematics out of the way. I believe it's Michael Bullock who starts it off. So Michael Bullock, Indianapolis Colts, coming off a tough luck loss at home to the Bengals. And the Redskins coming off a very impressive win in Arizona, including a return to form for Adrian Peterson, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, the Redskins looked really good in the opener against Arizona. I mean, and Adrian Peterson, like you said, he looked like his old self. And, of course, for the Colts, I mean, Andrew Luck, he looked good. I mean, he completed 39 of 53 passes for 2 touchdowns and an interception. But the thing is, the Colts blew a 13-point second-half lead. So basically lost to the Bengals. So yeah, and of course for the Redskins, it was also Alex Smith. I mean, he looked really good in his debut. So yeah, so basically, this is a tough one for me to decide. I mean, with Washington did basically offensively last week, and man, you know what? I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm gonna go with the Washington Redskins to win this one. I just was really impressed with what I saw from them, so I expect another good outing from Adrian Peterson, and Alex Smith I think will make enough plays offensively as well. So, but it would not surprise me if the Indianapolis Colts pulled out a win in this one. So I really got nothing more to say. So I'm just gonna give it to you, Florio.
The Colts have started the season 0-2 for 4 consecutive years. I think they're about to extend that streak to 5. I agree with you, Bullock. I mean, field conditions could play a factor in the game because of possible heavy rain due to Hurricane Florence. Colts head coach Frank Reich believes poor field conditions favor the offense, and that's where the Redskins will have the edge because of their running game. Washington rushed for 182 yards in week 1 against Arizona. The Redskins have a chance to be 2-0 for the first time since 2011, with upcoming games versus Green Bay and New Orleans. They need the momentum. Washington's running game looked as creative and diverse as it ever has been under their head coach, Jay Gruden, and that will give the Colts trouble. Washington, a 70% FPI favorite. They were one of FPI's biggest movers of the week, jumping 11 spots to 11th overall in large part because of the second highest offensive efficiency of week 1. And in his first start back from injury, Andrew Luck posted a 75.9 total QBR, which was higher than all but one of Jacoby Brissett's starts in 2017. Go figure. So I'm going with the Washington Redskins as well. My final score, I'm going to go... I'll go 21-17 Washington over Indianapolis. Nothing more to say here. So, MF, your thoughts on Indy and Washington?
Yeah, I totally agree with what you guys are saying. I think the Washington Redskins are going to win this game as well. I like what I've been seeing from Washington. That was a pleasant surprise. But here's the thing. Alex Smith has always been a great game manager. You know, he doesn't give you the thrills or the amazing numbers or anything else. You could see about maybe 200, 250 yards a game, a touchdown, whatever, but he doesn't make the big mistakes. Little short passes, intermediate passes, doesn't go for the long ball, except that one game where he basically torched the Patriot defense. That was just out of nowhere. But that's what you want to see. So I think it's going to be another consistent performance again, and I do believe they will win the game. So nothing more to say. I do believe Washington will win this one, and I think they're going to win this because of the fact that with the bad weather and everything else, I think it's going to be a little more closer. So my final score is 20-10. Advantage goes to the Washington Redskins. Nothing more to say. Anthony, let's move on.
Move on now to the late games. Started off with our 4:05 kickoff on Fox. We got the Arizona Cardinals squaring off against the Los Angeles Rams at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum in Los Angeles. Game is on Fox, like I said, and it is going to be the legendary Dick Stockton with Mark Schlereth and Jennifer Hale on the call. The Rams are the biggest favorites of the week. They are 13 to 14-point favorites against Arizona. The series is tied. The all-time series is tied between these two, 38-38 with two ties. The Rams won both meetings last year, a 33-0 beatdown in London, and a 32-16 whooping in Arizona. But the Cardinals did win the last meeting in the LA Coliseum, a 44-6 beatdown in 2016. And last time the Rams won in LA against the Cardinals was back in 1994, 31-28. That was, of course, before they moved to St. Louis. So I believe that covers all the schematics, and I believe I start this one off. So, the Cardinals managed just 6 points on 213 yards of total offense in week 1 against Washington. This week, they'll face one of the best defenses in the league. The Rams allowed 13 points and just 95 rushing yards on Monday night. Everywhere the Cardinals offense looks, it will find a star facing it. It's a mismatch everywhere on the field. The Rams offense scored 23 unanswered second-half points in week 1 against Oakland. This week, Aaron Donald looks to rebound from an unsatisfactory performance, and Ndamukong Suh has it out for Sam Bradford, who was picked number 1 in 2010, while Suh went number 2. Rams, biggest favorite of the week, 86% according to the FBI. Not only does FBI now consider the Rams the best team in football, but listen to this, guys. Los Angeles, according to them, is the most likely team to win the Super Bowl. 18%. We definitely have to think about that. But nonetheless, I got the Rams. They're my lock of the week. This is going to be an easy one. 42-17. All Rams, all the time. So, MF, what did you make of that little nugget I just dropped?
No, and I'm not surprised. I think a lot of people are buying the stock of the Rams, and why not? You know, ever since Sean McVay was the guy that ran this team and started to put all these pieces together with Todd Gurley, Jared Goff, and then because of what they did a year ago and that big run that they had, winning the division, making the playoffs, you know, yes, they bowed out early, which was a little bit of a disappointment. But then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, then they made these offseason acquisitions. Brandon Cooks, getting him from the New England Patriots. Sammy Watkins, getting him. Then they started working on the defense, locking up Aaron Donald for a long-term contract, getting Ndamukong Suh from the Miami Dolphins. The next thing you realize is they're putting all the pieces together for a Super Bowl run. And then we saw it with our own eyes, the way they handled the Oakland Raiders on Monday Night Football and absolutely thrashed them on Monday Night Football. That is not a coincidence. That is not just a one of those things. Legitly, no, Anthony. That stat that you say about them as the favorite for being Super Bowl champions or the favorite to win it all right now after week 1, I am not surprised. And they're going to prove it again on Sunday when they dominate the Cardinals in the submission. Lock of the week, 35-7. That's it. That's all I got to say. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, and you basically said it, Fletch. I mean, ever since Sean McVay became the coach, I mean, you're starting to see everything come together for this LA Rams team. I mean, it all started last year with the run that they went on, and then they went on and added some. It's like they just got better. I mean, when they they extended Aaron Donald. They got Ndamukong Suh. They got Brandon Cooks, and you also got Marcus Peters as well. So this team is looking like a team that could get to Atlanta for the Super Bowl. Now, whether that happens or not, that remains to be seen. But right now, it's looking really good after the way they thrashed the Raiders, and yeah, they're gonna thrash the Arizona Cardinals. My final score 45-7, and Florio. I mean, you know what they're probably gonna be saying after they thrash the Cardinals?
What are they gonna say?
Well, as a certain WWE superstar used to say, his name is Ryback. You know what the Rams are gonna say? Feed me more.
Feed more.
Feed me more.
Feed
Done.
More.
Finish it. That's what they're gonna be saying after what they're gonna do to Arizona.
Oh yeah. All right.
So let's move right along.
Yes, let's move on to our other 4:05 kickoff on Fox. The Detroit Lions squaring off against the San Francisco 49ers at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara outside of San Francisco. This game will be on Fox. Tom Brenneman, Chris Spielman, Shannon Spake on the call. 49ers opening up as 6 to 7 point favorites. Series history favors the San Francisco 49ers 36-27 with a tie. And that one tie came back in 1961. They played to a 2020 tie in San Francisco. The Lions won the last meeting 32-17 in Detroit in 2015, snapping a 9-game losing streak to the 49ers. And the last meeting in San Francisco was 2012. 49ers won that 27-19. You guys want to know an interesting number here? You want to know the last time the Detroit Lions won in San Francisco? Guys, you got to go all the way back to 1975. 1975, the last time the Detroit Lions came out of San Francisco with a win. 28-17 was the final score on that day. So I believe we have all the schematics out of the way, and I believe it's MF who starts it off. So MF, Detroit, and San Francisco at Levi's Stadium.
Both teams played horrible last week.
Oof.
I know you're trying. I know you're trying to find the words, or I'm trying to find something, any type of salvation. I mean, okay. I understand about the 49ers because, you played against a really good team in the Minnesota Vikings. Plus, you were in Minnesota. That's a tough environment to play. You heard the flugelhorn all afternoon. Jimmy G had a horrible game, man. I mean, he was pedestrian at best. I know a lot of fans were not happy with Jimmy G's performance. He made a lot of mistakes, threw some costly interceptions, and it was a horrible game, and I get it. But, dude, at least you were not Matthew Stafford. Whoa. Monday Night Football in your home stadium on ESPN. The whole nation was watching, and you put that stinker of a performance against the Jets? Yeah, that's not going to win you any favors, especially with me. I think the 49ers will bounce back. They had a bad game. I think they'll turn it around. I'm sorry. I kind of lost faith in Matthew Stafford, man. And the way that the the Lions were playing, it looked like they were lost out there. It looks like they didn't know what they were doing. I couldn't believe some of the plays that they were calling, and it was just a bad night all the way around. Nothing more to say. Niners wins this one. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, I mean, at least the 49ers lost. I mean, it was bad, but I mean, the thing is, they were going up against a very tough Minnesota Vikings team, and yeah, Jimmy G had a horrible game, but I think he should bounce back. But at least he wasn't like Matthew Stafford. I mean, what the hell? What the hell happened with him? I mean, he threw 4 picks in that game. I mean, he was just horrible. And some of the plays they were running just left your head scratching. And Matt Patricia, the head coach, is already getting some criticism. This is just after one game. I mean, could you imagine if you... I mean, guys, could you imagine if any guy doing fantasy football had Matthew Stafford as their starting quarterback in last week? Could you imagine how they must be feeling after that stinker of a performance? They're probably like, yeah, I'm not starting this guy again after the performance he had. I just think I think the 49ers will bounce back and take advantage of a Lions team that's just an absolute mess now. So 49ers win. I give it to you, Florio.
Move on to our next matchup. 4:25 kickoff on CBS. The Oakland Raiders squaring off against the Denver Broncos from Broncos Stadium at Mile High. They changed the name again, but you know where I'm talking about. This game will be in Denver on CBS. Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, Bruce Arians, and Melanie Collins will have the call. Denver opening up as a 6.5 to 7-point favorite. And the Raiders lead the all-time series 62-51 with 2 ties. And last year, both teams split. Both teams winning at home. Denver won 16-10 in Denver. And matter of fact, they won the last 2 meetings in Denver. 2015 was the last time the Raiders left Denver with a win. That was a 15-12 final, as you recall. And I believe we have gone through all the schematics here. So, Michael Bullock, we started with you. One of the great divisional rivalries of all time in the AFC, the Raiders and the Broncos in Denver. Denver coming off of that big win over Seattle last week. And, of course, the Raiders, they hung with the Rams for a while, but then the wheels fell off in the second half. So Bullock, come on in. Let's get your thoughts on it. The Raiders and the Broncos kicking off the CBS half of the league.
Florio, doesn't Fletch lead off on this?
No.
I thought you led off on the last game.
No, I don't believe I led off on the last one.
Because after I was done, it was you basically talked about the next game.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes, you're right. Thank you for bringing that to my attention there. Absolutely. Just give me a moment here. I just wanna check the docket and make sure. Because MF came in late. Let's not forget that. So me, Bullock. All right, and then I think I started the Philly, Tampa, MF, Houston, Tennessee, Bullock, Indy, Washington, me, Arizona, no, it is you, Bullock, because MF started the Detroit, San Francisco. So,
Oh,
it is you.
Oh, all right. So it was my fault. So, yeah, I don't know why I got confused there. So, yeah. All right. So, Raiders and Broncos. I mean, what can you say about Denver? I mean, I thought they, uh, I thought they looked really good offensively. I mean, they had a balanced attack. I mean, Case Keenum in their 27-24 victory. But the thing is, Case Keenum threw 3 picks in his debut, besides the 3 touchdowns he threw. So Case Keenum knows he's definitely got to play better. And Emmanuel Sanders, I mean, he caught 10 passes in the game, and they did really good on the running game from rookies Philip Lindsay and Royce Freeman and Bradley Chubb. Their rookie linebacker played more snaps than any other Broncos front 7 player, finishing with a half sack in his regular season debut. So, and Von Miller also had a really good game too, with a 3 sack performance, 2 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery. So, and the Raiders just looked horrible in their debut, and I expect the Raiders' struggles to continue. I got the Denver Broncos winning this one. My final score is going to be 31-20. Nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
The last time Derek Carr played in Denver, he suffered 3 broken bones in his back, and he looked unsure in the pocket on Monday night. Why should this change now? The Raiders can get a deeper passing game going with Amari Cooper and or Martavis Bryant. That would help. Otherwise, it's going to be another long afternoon for Oakland in the Mile High City. The Broncos repeatedly lined up Von Miller across from Seahawks right tackle Germain Ifedi last Sunday, and Miller repeatedly disrupted what the Seahawks were doing. If Miller succeeds against Oakland's Donald Penn in a similar fashion, the Broncos will control this one. So, Denver, 64% FPI favorite. The new Gruden era didn't start well, and a 0-2 start would drop the Raiders' playoff chances to just 5%. Denver could stake a claim in the playoff race with a 2-0 start, as its chances would jump to just over 25%. I forgot to mention about the San Francisco and Detroit. San Francisco was 74% favorite. Jimmy G in week 1 posted his lowest single game total QBR, 13.1 in a start, but that was on the road in Minnesota. Now he gets a home game against FBI's 27th ranked defense, so forgot to mention that little nugget there, so I apologize for that. So, yeah, I mentioned Denver 64%. Yep, okay, all right. So I'm going to go with Denver to win this one. I agree with you, Bullock. 24-16. 24-16. Denver over Oakland. Nothing more to say. MF. Denver, big win over Seattle. Oakland, they hung with the Rams for a bit, but then the wheels fell off in the second half.
Yeah, and it was a benefit for the Broncos. They went back to the old ways that brought them to the dance. They started playing that same strategy. Defense was really the key to that game. Offensively, they looked really good. At the end of the day, it was a good battle, a good scrap, good battle, whatever you want to say. I gotta go with Denver. I like what they do. I like that they got a good running attack and everything else. At the end of the day, I think they're gonna get the job done. So nothing more to say. Anthony, let's just move on.
Are you ready for the game of the week, guys? It's here. The Tony and Mikey special right here. Oh, our game, MF. There's no doubt about this one. 4:25 kickoff. The rematch from last season's AFC Championship game. The New England Patriots squaring off against the Jacksonville Jaguars, Everbank Field in Jacksonville on CBS. Of course, it'll be on our CBS affiliate, WPRI 12. Hello, friends. Jim Nance, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson on the call. New England opening up as a 1 to 1.5 point favorite, and another spread has this as a pick'em game. Not surprised at all to hear that. But according to the series history, regular season New England leads, get this, 7-0. New England is 7-0 in the regular season against Jacksonville. Overall, 11-1 if you count the playoffs. That's right. Jacksonville has only beaten the Patriots once in their history, and that was in a playoff game. A wild card game, January of 99. The Jaguars won that 25-10 before losing to the Jets in the divisional round that year. So that's the only time the Jaguars have ever beaten the Patriots. The last meeting, of course, was the AFC Championship game, New England winning that 24-20. Their last regular season meeting was 2015 in New England. New England won that going away 51-17 back when the Jaguars were a dud enhancement team. So it's only fitting I lead off because I am the voice of the group after all. So yes, Leonard Fournette's tweaked hamstring is a huge development in favor of the Patriots. Couple that with encouraging signs from the Patriots pass protection against a tough Texan defense in their opener, which they'll need against an equally impressive Jaguars defense in an electric environment. Even if Leonard Fournette is able to play, he's unlikely to be at full strength, which has a huge impact on the Jaguars offense. Coach Doug Marrone said this is the best TJ Yeldon has looked in his 4 seasons with the team, but he's not Fournette. The defense's number one priority is limiting Rob Gronkowski, and they are the one team in the league that has the personnel to do that. This is a very tough call. I mean, Jacksonville is the shakiest favorite of the week. They're only a 50.2% favorite in this one. Jacksonville's high-profile defense got off to a solid start, ranking 5th in efficiency in week 1 against the Giants. Obviously, this week is a much tougher test. So I have to go with the history here. I mean, I would not be surprised if Jacksonville were to win. I would not at all. Many said they should have won that AFC Championship game, including myself, but some questionable calls along the way, whatever. And yes, I am still very high on Jacksonville. I still think they're going to have a great year. But I think ultimately, because of that history, 1-11, I'm not sold. So I'm going to go with the New England Patriots to win this game. My final score, 23-17. It's going to be another instant classic. It's going to be a show stealer. It's got 5-star potential, without a doubt, because of the personnel in this one. The atmosphere is going to be incredible in Jacksonville. This is the biggest game in that stadium in nearly 2 decades. They haven't had a game of this magnitude since they hosted the AFC Championship game against Tennessee in January of 2000. MF and I should know. I mean, we remember that very well. So nothing more to say. New England 23-17 over Jacksonville. MF, come on in. Do that, Phil. Let's do that. Let's do that Phil Simms thing that I like. Hello, friends.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a great matchup, and definitely the keys to the game is basically Jacksonville. Can you basically go man to man on that Patriot offense? And the one thing that the Patriots offense does not like is to get rattled. What you got to do is put a body on them. Because the thing is, they love finesse. They love them to basically try to run it on you or everything else. Basically, what you should do is basically knock them off the ball. Put personnel on them. Give them looks that's going to frustrate them throughout the game. And that's one thing that Brady does not like. He likes, smoothness, awareness. He did throw an interception last week in that game against Houston. So I mean, he does tend to make mistakes along the way. If you can flush him out of the pocket, if you can frustrate him, give him moments where he's not so comfortable, then there's definitely a shot where you could get an upset. But the Leonard Fournette injury definitely concerns me a lot. And at the end of the day, I'm with you, Anthony. I think the Patriots will just have enough to get the job done. It's going to be a close game, but I do believe New England will win it as well. My final score is 21-17, and Mike, I give it to you.
Yeah, some people say that this could be the toughest challenge for the Patriots during the 4-game suspension of Julian Edelman, and I'll tell you what, the Patriots look good in the opener against the Texans. I mean, the defense I thought was really good. I mean, the front seven, I thought looked much better. And I think the key is, can Blake Bortles? I mean, can he put up enough points to match up with the Patriots? Some would say no, it's tough because you're going up against probably one of the, if not the greatest quarterback of all time, in Tom Brady. But the one matchup I'm interested to see, guys, is if they actually do put Jalen Ramsey on Rob Gronkowski. I'm interested to see how that goes. But I do agree with everything you guys said. And in the end, I got to go with the New England Patriots as well. It's going to be a close one. I'm going to go, 21-17, I think, is the correct score. And Patriots will go to 2-0. And like you said, Fletch, the Leonard Fournette injury is concerning. Right now, he's questionable, but I've heard reports it could be a game time decision. So we'll wait and see how it goes. Even if he does play, I don't think he'll be 100%. So we'll wait and see. So Patriots win. Florio, I say it's time to move on to Sunday Night Football.
Yes, indeed. Sunday Night Football on NBC. The New York Giants squaring off against the Dallas Cowboys. AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya will have it. Dallas opening up as a 3-point favorite. Series history favors the Dallas Cowboys as well, 64-45 with 2 ties. And Dallas swept both meetings last year, including 19-3 in Dallas. Giants last won in Dallas in 2016. That was a 20-19 win in Dallas. So I believe I have all the schematics down. So MF, we started off with you. Giants and Cowboys, both teams 0-1. Who gets that elusive first win in Jerry World Sunday night?
This one's an interesting game because I'm going to openly admit it. Dallas looked horrible. I mean, they got roughed up against a very good team. The final score, it was 16-8. The defense looked great. Offensively, they were off. And then the Giants, they had a chance to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. They did lose the game 20-15. That was actually a really good matchup and everything else. But the thing is that Dallas has a major problem. Number one, there's no legit wide receiver. That's the one thing that I kind of notice with them. They don't really have a good wide receiving core or look and everything else. You just can't rely too much on Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott to win that game for you. Even though I thought Dak looked really bad in that first game, they're going to need some help there. On top of that, if you think about the other way around, the Giants looked all right. Eli did throw a pick. That was vintage Eli Manning. You gotta try to stop that. Saquon Barkley had a good game. Odell Beckham Jr. had a good game. Defensively, they got to clean up a little bit. So it's basically, can Dallas's offense figure out the defense and exploit it? And if you're the Giants offense, can you make the key plays and basically try to figure out this really good defense that it is? At the end of the day, it's a tough call for me personally. I'm going to go with the Giants. I think the Giants has enough firepower. Like I said, I'm starting to question the Dallas Cowboy offense, and that's one thing I don't like. Yes, Ezekiel Elliott is a good player. I don't know anything more about it. Other than that, that's it. Giants win 17-14. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that Dallas Cowboys offense was horrible in that Week 1 matchup against the Carolina Panthers. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott was bad. I mean, well, not Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, Dak Prescott was bad. And, yeah, I mean, Dak Prescott knows he's got to play better. He's got to. And Ezekiel Elliott, I know he'll have a good game, but the thing is, who else on that Dallas Cowboys offense is going to step up and play a lot better? And the Giants, I mean, like you said, they had a chance to basically beat the Jaguars, but they didn't. And yeah, I thought the rookie Saquon Barkley had an all right game, and Odell Beckham Jr. had a good game. So I'm actually going to go with the New York Giants as well. I mean, it's just that there are a lot of questions. I mean, yeah, you got Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, but like I said, who else is going to step up? I just don't know. So because of that, I got to go with the Giants to win this one. And I'll tell you this, guys, if the Cowboys start the season 0-2, I'll bet you there's going to be that seat's definitely going to get hotter for Coach Jason Garrett. So nothing more to say. Florio, what's yours?
Odell Beckham Jr. had more than 100 yards receiving, and Saquon Barkley had more than 100 yards rushing in Week 1. That led to only 15 points against a strong Jaguars defense. The Cowboys aren't at Jacksonville's level. The Giants could enjoy even more success against Dallas's defense on Sunday night. Since 2015, Eli Manning has thrown for more than 220 yards against the Cowboys only once. He has as many games with no touchdown passes, 3, as he has touchdown passes against Dallas. He has been intercepted 5 times and sacked 11 times. For the 7th time in Jason Garrett's 8 years, the Cowboys could open 1-1 after 2 games. Dallas is the FPI favorite at 71%. The Giants are just 9-15 in NFC East games since the start of the 2014 season. Eli Manning has a 39.6 total QBR in his past 4 games against the Cowboys, though he didn't have the services of Odell Beckham Jr. in either matchup last season. But I'm sorry, guys, I got to disagree with you. I'm going with Dallas in this one. 26-17, Dallas over the Giants. Nothing more to say. Let's move on to our final game of the week, Monday Night Football on ESPN. The Seattle Seahawks and the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field in Chicago. Joe Tessitore, Jason Witten, Booger McFarland, Lisa Salters, they will have the call, and it is the Chicago Bears opening up as 3 to 3.5 point favorites against the Seahawks. And the series history favors the Seattle Seahawks 11-4. Their last meeting was 2015 in Seattle, all Seattle 26-0. Last meeting in Chicago was 2012. Seahawks won that 23-17 overtime in 2012. The Bears have not beaten the Seahawks in Chicago since an NFC divisional playoff game, January of 2011. 35-24 was the final there. Their last regular season win against Seattle was back in 2006, their Super Bowl year, when they pounded the Seabags 37-6. So I believe it is Michael Bullock who starts it off. So Bullock, Seattle, tough loss against Denver, but Chicago, I mean, against Green Bay, they dominated the first half. Khalil Mack made an immediate impact, but Aaron Rodgers, we all know, had that American hero performance in him. So Michael Bullock, come on in. Let's get your thoughts. Seattle and Chicago wrapping up week 2 on Monday night.
Yeah, for Seattle, I mean, it was a tough loss for them. I mean, they had a lead in the 4th quarter against Denver, and then they just basically couldn't finish the job. And the same thing goes with the Bears. I mean, I thought the Bears looked good early on, especially, Khalil Mack. I mean, he looked really good. I mean, with 4 sacks and 5 tackles for a loss, and He also had an interception return for a touchdown. So, man, this is another tough one to call. But after seeing what I saw from the Bears, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I got to go with the Chicago Bears to win this one. And I'm going to say 20-17 is going to be my final score. So nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah. Let me see. What do I have for this one? Just give me a moment here. Just okay. The Seahawks will be without number 1 receiver Doug Baldwin and linebacker KJ Wright. The Seahawks, however, still have the clear edge at quarterback with Russell Wilson. Under Pete Carroll, the Seahawks are 22-4-1 in primetime games and 7-1 on Monday night. Pass rusher Khalil Mack figures to be even better in week 2, and if Chicago's offense can show marginal improvement, the Bears have a good opportunity to get their new head coach Matt Nagy his first win as a head coach. The Chicago Bears are the FPI favorite at 58%. A home loss would drop the Bears' chances at the postseason to just 9%. An 0-2 start for Seattle, meanwhile, would peg them at a 14% chance to make the playoffs. This, to me, is the toughest game of the week to call right here. I mean, my gut's telling me to go with Seattle because on paper, they're the better team. You know, Russell Wilson and, of course, those numbers that I just mentioned. But Chicago, though, I mean, Khalil Mack, I mean, he just looks so impressive against Green Bay, even though they lost. Ugh, this is so tough. I'm sorry, I got to go with Seattle here. I can't quite put my finger on Chicago, though. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they were to win. I wouldn't be at all. But when you think about those Seahawks numbers on Monday night, it's hard to ignore. Me being the stats guy, hard to ignore it. So I have to go with Seattle based on that alone. 27-23, Seattle over Chicago. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Whatever. So nothing more to say. MF, I mean, we talked about it. Khalil Mack. We said he was going to make an immediate impact. And oh, did he have a big impact?
He made a huge impact, no doubt about it. You know, I think it was one of those situations that, you know, it was a great game, great performance. Yeah, I mean, you definitely got to believe that he'll be an impact player. You know, I not only that, but Mitchell Trubisky did pretty good. A lot of performances were pretty good as well. So it kind of depends how it plays out. We'll wait and see what happens. But at the end of the day, we'll have to. It's going to be an interesting matchup. Deep down, I feel like Chicago should have been 1-0 because they played almost the perfect game and they lost it, you know, right at the very end because of Aaron Rodgers being the American hero that he is. And I know Derek Ferreira even alluded to it. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be a great game. Nothing more to say. But I'm going to go with Seattle as well. But I'm not like 1,000% confident about that pick, though. So we'll wait and see what happens. Good matchup. And Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
I let off on it.
Oh, sorry. Anthony, back to you.
Yes, it's time for our first NFL power rankings of this season, and it's very simple, very simple. As you know, when it comes to the opening our opening week rankings, I mean, I personally would like to base it on, you know, who were the 10 most impressive teams in week 1, and so let's take a look at it. I do want to give one honorable mention, and that honorable mention for me, you have to give it up for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, to nearly defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers, I mean, you can't ignore that. I mean, they nearly pulled it out. They came back from 2 touchdowns down to tie it up. I mean, both teams had opportunities to win, but Cleveland, to me, should be at least an honorable mention there, guys. I mean, no question about that. And then from there, as far as duds go, the dud of the week, without a doubt, the Buffalo Bills. I mean, that was one of the most horrific performances I have ever seen in all my years as a Bills fan. I mean, a performance like that would be reason enough for me to jump off the Bill bandwagon and root on another team. But you know me, I'm loyal, I'm faithful, and I know it's probably going to be another hard times year for us. I mean, we'll never forget that. We'll always have 2017, folks. I mean, that's all there is to say on that. So, okay. So with all that being said, now let's dive it on in and get to these rankings. I mean, this is going to be tough. I'm not going to lie. I mean, because it's the opening week. I mean, who do we go with? I mean, should we just go with Philadelphia as the number 1 team, considering they are the Super Bowl champs, and maybe New England as number 2, considering they were the runners up?
Nope, not in my eyes. Philly's not even in my top 5. Neither is New England.
How about you lead it off, MF, while I get ready here?
All right, that's fine. To start it off, my number 10, I'm going to say it, Miami Dolphins. Very impressive win, 27-20 over the Tennessee Titans. Reason why Tennessee was a playoff team, and Miami definitely, they played a great game. They definitely dug down deep. Very impressive performance, to say the very least. Ryan Tannehill, 2 touchdowns, 2 INTs, but the defense definitely came to play on this day. So they really looked really good at week 1. Now they got to go up against the New York Jets, which is not an easy game, especially in the Meadowlands, because you never know how that plays out. In the last few years, Miami dominates, but last year they got dominated. In my mind. So we'll wait and see what happens. My number 10, Miami Dolphins. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Let's steer this for about 7 to 8 minutes, mixing it really well together.
Actually, Florio, I got a question.
Yes.
Do you mind if I sit this one out? Because usually these first power rankings for me for the first week of the NFL season, it's very tough for me.
Fair enough. Yeah, you can sit this one out. Absolutely.
I mean, as the season progresses, it'll be like easier for me, but it's usually the first week that's tough for me.
It's tough for all of us. Let's not kid ourselves. So we'll just navigate this the best way we can. So I can make an argument for Miami, MF. I mean, getting that big win over Tennessee, but I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, Bullock is so right. I mean, it is so tough to do a power rankings, especially after opening week. I mean, it's so tough. Honest to goodness, it really is.
Do you wanna abort it, and then maybe we could revisit it next week? I mean, I understand we have to do a power rankings, but like we said, first week, first game out, we don't really. It's like it's not a real snapshot of everything else. I say we should at least have 2 weeks in before we do a power ranking. I say, if you want to call it off. I know number 1 for me. Number 1's the Baltimore Ravens.
Yes, absolutely.
Number 1 was okay because here was the rankings I had going in, and then say what you will. My number 1 is the Baltimore Ravens. Number 2, the New York Jets. Number 3, the LA Rams. Number 4, the Washington Redskins. Number 5 was the Cincinnati Bengals. Number 6, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 7, Minnesota Vikings. 8, the New England Patriots. 9, the Philadelphia Eagles. 10, the Miami Dolphins. That was my rankings.
I think Green Bay, I think should have been in there somewhere.
No.
Because of Aaron Rodgers.
No. I can't do that. Nope. Because of the fact of how far they fell behind against the Bears. And yes, I will give you the fact about the Aaron Rodgers effect, but that was a 1-point win. That should have been a bigger margin. No.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I'll leave it at that. So yeah. I suppose I could go with that as well. I mean, Baltimore, there's no doubt. Baltimore far and away was the best team last week. I mean, they took care of their business. They absolutely manhandled the Buffalo Bills, 47-3. I mean, absolutely. I mean, you could easily make an argument for that. Number 2,
I said the New York Jets.
Yeah, absolutely the Jets. I mean, 48-17 beat down of the Lions. I mean, you definitely have to consider that. Run down that list again, MF, and I'll see if I agree with it.
All right. Once again, number 1 I said was Baltimore.
Yep.
Number 2 was the Jets.
Okay.
3 was the LA Rams.
Yep. I agree.
Okay.
Yep.
4 I said was the Washington Redskins.
Yep.
I believe number 5. What?
You said Cincy.
Cincinnati was 5.
Yep.
Tampa 6.
Yep. Okay.
Minnesota 7.
Yep. I agree.
The New England Patriots were 8.
Patriots at 8. Yep.
The Eagles were 9.
Yep. Just barely got by. Yep.
And I put the Miami Dolphins, and Miami was my number 10. The reason why, now I know a lot of people are going to say, Mike, you left out Kansas City. Why did you leave them out? Well, that's a legit question, and maybe that's where the argument would come in. Maybe this is where I actually would knock Philly out and then put Kansas City there, but I kind of felt like Kansas City kind of was it was a good performance and no knocking against them, but I don't know. I kind of felt like I wasn't like wowed by Kansas City.
Like they needed to prove more.
And it was only a 10-point win, granted, but and the thing was, I don't think the way they won it was very impressive. But again, I gotta reward Philly because of that. They really held Atlanta in check, and it was really more of a defensive dominance. And you know me, I'm a defensive guy, so I kind of gave the reward to Philly more than Kansas City. Now, I know a couple of people will argue, but that's just my thoughts alone there.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So I think maybe we should probably do that. I mean, Bullock says he has a hard time with it. So what I could do is I do have a few winners and losers. I mean, obviously from an individual standpoint, from winners you had Ryan Fitzpatrick, Andy Reid, and Brett Veach, the Minnesota Vikings. Yes, I have Green Bay, even though they, had that 1-point win. The losers, Le'Veon Bell, the Buffalo Bills, the Dallas offense, Sam Bradford, Tennessee. I mean, they were to me the losers and all that. So I think maybe it would be best if we were to possibly hold off here. So We'll try again next week. I promise you that. We'll try it again next.
We'll
week.
have it next week, definitely.
Yeah, give us a couple of weeks, and maybe we should do the same for the college football show as well. So that's all we can say on that. So maybe not the college football show, but the NFL show, yeah, definitely. So we'll do the power rankings next week. How about that? So so with all that being said, that will put the bow on this week 2 edition of NFL Friday. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. Whoever wants it first, save me for last, and I'll set up some very exciting future content coming up.
Go ahead, Bullock. You could lead off.
Oh, all right,
you deserve
it. All right, I wasn't quite sure, but yeah, of course, we want to thank you all so very much for tuning in for this week 2 edition of NFL Friday. We hope you enjoy our thoughts on the week 2 matchups here. Of course, shout outs to all of our tremendous fans out there, to all of our the super fans out there. You guys know who you are. To all of our friends from our high school days, you guys know who you are. To all of our local personalities from 6, 10, and 12. All of the national personalities from ESPN, Fox Sports, NFL Network, MLB Network, NHL Network, NBA TV, and all the other networks out there. To, of course, our friends from the Road Show. And, of course, yeah, so that's pretty much going to do it for me. So until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, or should I say for later on for our Hell in a Cell preview, I should say. Got a little sidetracked there. So until our Hell in a Cell preview, this is Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up 424 style. Bye for now. And of course, enjoy all the college football action later on today. So that being said, Fletch, I give it to you.
Yes, thank you, Mike, and thank you, everybody. As always, this was a very special evening. Awesome as always. To the super fans, you guys know who you guys are. To my friends in the 2184 crew, you guys know who you guys are, and the friends in the junior high and high school days, you guys know who you guys are, and we'll see you guys very soon. So much love. Have a great night. How's the hand pounds? I'm out. Anthony, it's all yours.
So what time tomorrow night do you guys want to do the Hell in a Cell preview show?
I mean, I don't know how I'm going to, because I might have plans, but I don't know for sure, because I want to definitely see the Triple G Canelo tomorrow. So Anthony, what I was thinking is just you take it all. Take the preview and the recap, and maybe sometime down the line I'll take both shows, like maybe for Survivor Series or something like that.
Or maybe the we'll figure that out. Definitely.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
So it sounds to me like you're out of the show tomorrow night, MF. So
yeah.
All right. So, Bullock, what time is good for you tomorrow?
How about 11:30?
Sounds good to me.
All right.
So 11:30 tomorrow night, Michael Bullock and I will have our Hell in a Cell preview. So we'll get into that in just a minute. So special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our shows as over as they are. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world. Of course, special shout out to all of our super fans and insiders. Dede Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the Woodson family, Matt Ward, Jason Hexenbaugh, Danny Luttrell from the UK, our other first ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway, the crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Al Braderson, and Rob Parsons, and of course, the man himself, Derek Ferreira. Our personalities from 6, 10, and 12, ESPN, FS1, NFL Network, MLB Network, NHL Network, NBA TV, Lindsay McCormick and Status Sorrell, Chantel McKay from the Golf Channel, Give it up for our friends on the road show, Will Gilbert, Brendan Kirby, and Michaela Johnson. Former co-host Megan Mooney, Mary Larson, and of course, last but not least, my wonderful friends and church family over at Oasis of Grace Ministries on 464 Silver Spring Street in Providence. We had a wonderful service tonight, and yes, indeed. So look forward to seeing them on Sunday. If you need a church home, check them out. Exit 25 off Route 95. Sunday morning, it'll be at 9 a.m. Bible study a little after 10, the Sunday morning service. And then Wednesday nights at 7, Bible study again. So, yeah, so great service tonight. That's all I can say. So there's nothing really more to say on that. So as I just mentioned, 11:30 tomorrow night, our Hell in a Cell preview, myself and Michael Bullock will run the show. And then Sunday night, we will have the recap. I'll have that as well. I will be hosting both shows. So in a way, it kind of will be a ridiculously raw weekend if you really think about it. Normally, when we do pay-per-views, I aim for them to be, a joint production of Ridiculously Raw and the Cerebral Smack Talk, but MF has plans and work commitments, so he will be unable to participate in both shows. But he should be back on Monday night for Ridiculously Raw. We'll sort out all the fallout from Hell in a Cell on the Raw side. My Tony's take on 205 Live and Impact Wrestling as always, and then of course Tuesday or whenever, the Cerebral Smack Talk with MF, the SmackDown Live fallout from Hell in a Cell, and Lucha Underground, and then of course Thursday, College Football Thursday, week number, I believe it's 4 coming up. Wow, already, unbelievable. Week 4 coming up. We'll run down the top 25 action of week 4 as well as our power poll. And then next Friday night, NFL Friday, week 3, we'll run down the week 3 slate of games. And of course, the Thursday night game, the Jets and the Browns. Not really interested in that. I probably would go with the Jets in that one. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So until tomorrow night for our Hell in a Cell preview, it's Anthony Florio here for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher, Didi Woodson, Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up, Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Saturday. Enjoy all the college football action. And until our Hell in a Cell preview tomorrow night, you've been watching week 2 of Strictly Sports NFL Friday right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. And remember, as I always say, for everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.